So, in the last session, so we have seen the complete chart of accounts configuration, and we discussed relevant points, how to create instance, deployment, the values creation. So any questions on the same, please? Any questions from the past sessions? Just let me know, we'll discuss. Once we are done with that, we can proceed with the next step. Any questions from anyone, please? No questions. Okay. Just I want to get confirmation from anyone, please. So, am I audible?
Yes, Lakshman.
Oh, thanks.
Yes,
Yeah, thanks. But we'll proceed now. So we are ready with calendar, which we created. We are ready with currency, which Oracle is providing. And we are ready with chart of accounts, which again we created. So we are ready with these three components. You can call as three components. To capture the date, we use calendar component. To identify that figures what we enter belongs to which currency, okay, which monetary value, we use currency. To capture the detailed information which is required for each and every transaction as per reporting requirements, chart of accounts required in the system. So when you look at these three components, the three are starting with C. Instead of saying to create the transaction, we need calendar, currency, chart of accounts, you can make it more shorter, saying we need three C's. To create the transaction in the system, to create the transaction in Fusion applications, we need three C's. With the help of three C's, we can create the transaction. Instead of saying we need calendar, currency, chart of accounts, we can say we need three C's to create the transaction. Along with these three C's, we use one more component that we call as accounting method. We will understand more detailed level about this accounting method after a few classes, not now. We have to start working on payables application so that you can understand. But at least we should aware what is the purpose we are going to use it. The purpose of calendar to capture the date. The purpose of currency to identify, to specify the amounts are belongs to which currency. And the purpose of chart of accounts to capture the description. What is the purpose of accounting method? The purpose of accounting method is to create accounting entries. Or I'll simply say accounting. Take simple example. You created an invoice on the payables. In payables, you created an invoice. When you create invoice on the payables, system has to create accounting. We don't need to do anything. System has to create. Everything is automated in the application. So system will create. How it will create? With the help of accounting method. What we have inside of accounting method, we have accounting rules. By using the rules, it will create accounting. We should not think about this accounting method more than this at this stage. It is not good for us. We cannot understand. So take these notes and read and remember, that is enough. When we start working on accounts payable application, we will have a separate session on this. However, we discussed calendar, currency, chart of accounts in the different sessions. In the same way, we will discuss about accounting method. Now it is not mandatory to understand. Take a simple note. Inside of accounting method, you can have a set of accounting rules, which will help us to create accounting for transactions. You create invoice in the payables, accounting method will create accounting entry. You create payment in the payables, it will create accounting. You create transaction in the receivables, or say sales invoice in the receivables, it will create accounting. Create receipt in the receivables, it creates accounting. In any application, you go and create the transaction, it can generate the accounting because there are rules which says if invoice is created in the payables, this should be the accounting. All the rules are there inside of accounting method. Now already we counted, we have 3 C's, but the fourth one unfortunately starting with the A. So that is the reason what Oracle says is, forget about first letter, you count second letter, which is C. Okay. So we have 3 C's, and Oracle is saying the fourth one, you please count second letter, that is C. That's how you can count. Total, you have 4 C's. For this accounting method, there is another name that we call as conversions or conventions, you can say, accounting conventions. Don't think Oracle is referring, convention starts with a C, and here we are calling a C. The second letter, what we are referring in accounting method, the C is not correct. No, this is correct. This is what Oracle documentation also says. They are counting fourth C from accounting method, the letter, second letter after A. So this is what we have to understand. If you have these 4 C's ready in your system, you can go ahead and you can create the transactions in any application. If you want to create the transactions only in the GL application, general ledger application, 3 C's are enough. By using 3 C's, nothing you can record. Doesn't make any sense if you are recording within the GL. The reality, we don't record the transactions in the GL. That mostly we use GL for reporting purpose. Hope you remember what we discussed in the very initial classes. So the general ledger is the base application. We prepare the reports. We get total data from these applications to this general ledger application. Here we prepare the reports. The real transactions we create in these applications only. So if you want to record the transaction, we need 4 C's: calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method. So by using these 4 C's, you can record the transactions in any application. If you want to record the transaction only in the GL, 3 C's are enough: calendar, currency, chart of accounts. So this is all about the 4 components, which we are calling as 4 C's. Now, whenever you record the transaction, the payables, we need these 4 C's. Whenever you record the transaction, the receivables, we need these 4 C's. When you record the transactions in the fixed assets, purchasing, take any application, we need 4 C's. So since these 4 are required, we can combine these 4 so that whenever we want to create the transaction, easily you can pick these and you can create. So by clubbing these 4, by combining, by binding these 4, we can create something that we call as primary ledger. PL. Primary ledger. By grouping calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method, we can create the primary ledger. So this is what we have to understand about what is the meaning of primary ledger. If you want to create any transactions, we need primary ledger. That's it. You no need to say 3 C's, 4 C's and all. Now the name we derived as a primary ledger. In payables, you want to record the transactions, use primary ledger. In receivables, you want to record the transactions, use primary ledger. GL, you want to create the transactions, use primary ledger. In any application you want to create the transactions, we need primary ledger. This is the point we have to understand. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, as of now, I know that ERAP, so these are the applications we can go and transact. Okay, but I don't know that the GL we can make transactions. Can you
We'll
say
see that.
one example?
See, you know that, that's okay. But we will see that, we will see in the system. And GL, how we will see, just as of now, take the point. If you want to see the proof and all, we have to get into that relevant session. Yeah, for now, just make a note. For make a note, you can create the transactions GL also, but reality we don't create. There are some exceptional scenarios where we create, there are some reasons. But whatever the business you do, you record in the payables, receivables, and other applications only. GL primarily for reporting purpose. There is a provision. There is a provision you can create, but doesn't make any sense. Kind of adjustment entries you can pass. How to record and all, I'll take you through that.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions, please? Any questions from anyone? No questions? Fine. So this is what we have to understand. We need primary ledger. Now we are going to create the primary ledger in the system. Okay, we are going to create the primary ledger. So as a part of primary ledger, okay, when you talk about primary ledger, we have to complete few setups, few tasks we have to perform. The very first one would be to create primary ledger by selecting these 4 C's. The next step would be, as we discussed in the last session, every company object is making profit. For that, what account we created in our chart of accounts? Returned earnings. Within the account value set, we created returned earnings account. That account we have to set for our primary ledger. That account we have to set for our primary ledger. That you can say as per system that you call as ledger options. Say set ledger options. After setting the ledger options, you have to complete your primary ledger. That's all. Then your primary ledger would be ready. Your primary ledger would be ready. Once we are done with this, we will discuss what is the next step, what we should understand, how to create the same in the system. Before we proceed, any questions here, please? No questions. So go to instance, go to our implementation project. Click on task list, click on manage implementation projects, click on overview. Here is our implementation project. Open it. So we want to create the primary ledger. Just search for primary ledger. So manage primary ledgers. Okay, manage primary ledgers. Click on the same task. Click on same task. Click on go to task icon. Done. Now You can see many primary ledgers in this instance. These are all created for practice. You don't find any seeded primary ledgers in the fresh instance. When you navigate to this page you could see as a blank in case of fresh instance. This is how you see this page. No primary ledgers we can find in this page. We have to create the very first primary ledger. You may create one or you may create multiple. So when you talk about primary ledger, we create for each country one primary ledger. We cannot have single primary ledger for multiple countries. The very key reason is currencies are different. If currencies are same for multiple countries, you can have same. If calendars and chart of accounts are also same for that country. But typically, we can have separate primary ledgers for each country since currency, by default, currency is different. That is a key reason why we need to maintain the separate ledgers for each country. To create the primary ledger, click on this create icon, plus icon, and provide the name. How we have to take the naming convention. When you create the primary ledger, how the naming convention should be for primary ledger. Always you can take your client name as a prefix. We are taking now as ABC Inc. Take the same. And this primary ledger for which country? Take that country code US. What we are creating? We are creating primary ledger. We are in primary ledger page itself. Again, why we are entering in the name as a primary ledger? There is a reason. There are certain fields which will display your primary ledger as well as some other setups also in one field. In one field, we get primary ledger, something else. If you don't have a clear naming convention, it will create the confusion for us. That is the reason when you create primary ledger, again, you can input the same text within the name so that it will make sense everywhere and anywhere across these applications which we are going to use. In certain fields will allow different setup data. Most of the fields, if the field name is primary ledger, it will display primary ledger only. Then it is easy for us. There will be some field name saying that some entity. Entity means it could be anything. It could be a primary ledger or something else. So in those fields, if you don't give the proper naming convention for your primary ledger as primary ledger, we cannot understand. So always you include primary ledger as a primary ledger. So that makes sense everywhere. How do you create the primary ledger? If this is a question, you can answer by selecting calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method. We can create the primary ledger. Nothing else we have to explain. This is the answer. How do we create the primary ledger? By selecting, the terminology is very important. By selecting calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method, we can create the primary ledger. When you create the primary ledger, which components are mandatory? That is the question. Answer is calendar, chart of accounts, and currency. Only these three components are mandatory. You can see in the screen, accounting method is not mandatory. There is no star mark. Accounting method is not mandatory. Only calendar, currency, chart of accounts, these three components are mandatory. Even it is not mentioned as a mandatory, always we choose accounting method as a mandatory only. If you are going to use only general ledger application, the 3 C's are okay. But every client you see, every client definitely they use many applications or at least few applications. It means along with the general ledger, they use few applications. So when we create primary ledger, we should treat accounting method as mandatory. That is a point we have to understand. So we have, by selecting the 4 components, we can create the primary ledger. But information point of view, you should be able to understand 3 C's are mandatory, not 4. Means calendar, currency, accounting method, 3 are mandatory. Accounting method is not mandatory. As a just observation, you have to keep it ready. Now, what we can select here as a chart of accounts. We created chart of account structure and chart of account structure instance. Here name is chart of accounts. Wherever you see the term called a chart of accounts, you should understand it refers to chart of account structure instance only. It refers chart of account structure instance only. So this is what we have to understand. Now you can select our chart of account structure instance. You cannot find chart of account structure. Let me give here USA. Seems to somebody created as ABC INC US primary ledger. Okay, I'm taking USA primary ledger. So select our chart of account structure instance. You don't find chart of account structure. You don't find chart of account structure in this field. Only you can see chart of account structure instance. What is the different naming conventions we given? We created chart of account structure as ABC INC accounting flex field. This is the name we given for chart of account structure. For instance, we given ABC INC accounting flex. This is the instance name. The first one is structure name, and this second one is instance name. Let's see what you can find here. Here you can see ABC INC accounting flex. There is no ABC accounting flex field. So instance only. If you want to write the description, you can write the description. ABC INC. You can say simply the primary ledger for USA. You may write some extended description if you want to write, or else ignore it, any optional field. Now select the calendar, whatever we created. So here check for ABC INC accounting calendar. This is the name we given, ABC INC select. I think this we didn't create. Someone else created in this as ABC. So no worries, just we'll go and create it. I think we created as ABC ACC CAL. We'll create accounting calendar.
I think we created with XYZ INC for calendar and currency.
Okay, yeah, that's what. Yeah, let's create with ABC. So you can name it as ABC INC accounting calendar. You can take start date for the financial year. Jan 1st. Rest system is defaulting. You don't need to change. Already we discussed. So click on next. Created for entire year. All the periods. Say save and close. Now this accounting calendar you can use when you create your primary ledger. Just wait for a moment. It has to save all these periods which are created for our accounting calendar. And also we discussed if you want to add periods for future years, just one click. Okay, once you save it, it will add one tab here as a next year. You can click on it, it will generate the periods for next year automatically. Done. So you check once. Created. Now go to primary ledger definition. Task is manage primary ledgers. Click on go to task icon. Click on create. You can name it as ABC INC USA primary ledger. You can take US. Okay, since somebody created here already with the same name, I'm taking as USA. And you can select our chart of account structure instance name. ABC INC accounting flex. Accounting calendar is ABC INC accounting calendar. We are creating this primary ledger for US. You have to select US local currency. which is USD. Accounting method. Select standard accrual. We'll discuss what are the other types also we'll discuss when we will have one session on this accounting method. When we are working on payables, we'll have one session on accounting method. In that session, we can discuss everything detail level, what we have inside of this accounting method, what is standard accrual or what are the other methods we have, how these are different. We will have a deep dive. So this is how we have to create the primary ledger. By selecting calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method, we can create the primary ledger. If you click on save and close, primary ledger definition would be completed, but still we have to complete few other setups like setting ledger options and updating the status as a 100% this primary ledger is ready to use. Click on save and close. And here notice on a few other points. Once you create the primary ledger, you cannot update chart of accounts, calendar, and currency. The three components which you see here as a mandatory, you cannot change it. Only accounting method you can change at any point of time. That flexibility we have. Once you create your primary ledger, the calendar, currency, chart of accounts, you cannot update. You have to be very careful when you are choosing and then you are creating. Now click on save and close. Primary ledger is created. Okay. Now, the next step, we have to set ledger options. Through ledger options, very primarily we are going to set returned earnings account. We are going to set returned earnings account, which is mandatory for every primary ledger. So here you can search or directly you can see a task called as specify ledger options. You can see the task called as specify ledger options. By using the specify ledger options, you can set up returned earnings account. Just click on go to task icon. Now system is asking us, we want to provide returned earnings account for which primary ledger. We have to choose first. Say select and add. Click on apply and go to task and provide our primary ledger name. We create it as a ABC INC USA. You don't need to type the full name. So that is a search field. We don't have any search button. Directly use enter from the keyboard. So here is our primary ledger. You can notice our primary ledger status is in process, not yet completed. We have to perform separate task to complete it. Now select our primary ledger and click on save and close. Done. If you want to change the primary ledger name, you can change in this page. If you want to change currency, no. Accounting chart of accounts, you cannot change. You cannot change the calendar. If you want to change, you can change accounting method. So here is the account called as returned earnings. We have to provide the returned earnings account. And along with that, we have to set the journal language. Okay, in which language we are going to record the transactions in the system that we have to provide. By default, US American English. And provide returned earnings account. Click on search. So within our chart of accounts, what are the segments we have? You can see here. What are the segments we created within our chart of accounts? You can see that. So what are the values we created? You can find by clicking on this drop down. Okay. So select 1000 or 2000, 3000, doesn't make any difference here. Here our target is returned earnings account, nothing else. but by default, Oracle is prompting us to select other segment values also, but it's a mandatory is returned earnings. So this is our target. So along with this returned earnings, you can select any company, any department, or any values. There won't be any issue. So system will calculate this returned earnings based on the transactions what you created, not based on what company you are choosing here. You may choose here company called as 1000. Don't think you are setting the returned earnings account for company 1000. No. You are setting this returned earnings for your entire primary ledger. How many companies we have within your primary ledger? This returned earnings account will be applicable for all those. For all the companies, it will identify what is the revenue, what is the expense, what is the variance. The company wise, it will update the balances with this returned earnings account. So this is what we have to understand. Now select department, finance, any values you can choose. Very important one is account, returned earnings account should be the right account. Rest anything you can choose. So there won't be an issue with the returned earnings account calculation. Based on the transactions which are available, system will create, not based on what you are choosing. But account is mandatory. That's it. So rest of values also you can provide. And choose everything just default value, because this is not a real transaction, just you can enter any value. Now, if you click on OK, this is going to be the code combination. Already discussed, if you just combine few codes that we are calling as code combination. At our chart of account structure definition, we given the delimiter, segment separator, we given dot. That means it will create 1000 dot, 1000 dot, triple, 44440 dot, 0000 dot. So that's how it can create code combination. So when you try to create the code combination, system will have a check. So these all segments are coming from our chart of accounts. And chart of account structure instance level, there is one control. If the checkbox is enabled to create new code combinations, then only system will allow us to create the new code combination. Now just click on OK. Now what system will do is system will verify whether this is the first time we are trying to create or already this code combination is available in the system. It will check. And what permissions are available in the chart of account structure instance level, it will check. If permissions are there to create the new code combination, then it will allow. Now it accepted. This we call as a new code combination. For the first time we are creating this code combination in the system. So system accepted. Why it accepted? There is a reason. It may not allow. There is a reason. What is it? Go to our chart of account structure instance. I'm opening the same instance under a different tab. Yes, you can open the same instance under different tabs and you can perform different activities. It supports. So go to setup and maintenance task. You can go to your implementation project, or else directly you can go to search. And from here, you search for chart of account structure. So manage chart of account structures. Click on this task. Click on search. Go to manage structure instances. The instance what we created, go to that instance. What is the instance name? ABC INC Accounting Flex. This is our instance name. Now open this instance. To open, you can click on edit. In this instance, you can see one checkbox called as dynamic combination creation allowed. We are telling to the system By using this chart of account structure instance, if somebody is trying to create the new code combination, please allow. That is the meaning of this checkbox. So since it is enabled, here we are able to create this code combination. If it is disabled here, if you try to create the code combination, system doesn't allow. So that is the purpose of the checkbox or control we have at chart of account structure instance level. Okay, what is the use of this dynamic combination creation allowed means you have to say if the checkbox is enabled, we can create the new code combinations by using the chart of account structure instance. If it is not enabled, if it is disabled, no new code combinations can be created. System will not allow. So this is the point we have to understand. Any questions here, please? No questions. Then just cancel this to close. Say save and close. As of now, nothing is mandatory here to set up. Only retained earnings account we have to set. We provided retained earnings account code combination. Right now. So we have to complete our primary ledger. We have to complete our primary ledger. When you try to complete our primary ledger, what system is going to validate, what it is going to perform, what action it is going to perform, let's try to understand it. We no need to do anything, just our task is just we have to go and click on one task. It takes or it take care of automatically. We no need to worry about it. But beyond the scenes, what happening we have to understand. Let's try to understand that point. When you try to complete your primary ledger, what system will do is will perform some action. What is that? To understand it, let's go through some few details. So we have Oracle database. Now, what are the setups we are doing? Everything will go and sit in the Oracle database. So what we have in Oracle database, we have a tables. If you create calendar, calendar will go and sit in the calendar table. If you create the chart of account, chart of accounts will go and sit in the chart of accounts table. If you create the primary ledger will get stored in the primary ledger table. This is how everything will get stored in the respective tables of Oracle database. Now, in Fusion, we have one reporting capability called as FRS. FRS stands for Financial Reporting Studio. For the same, we have one more name. You can call as HFR. Hyperion Financial Reporting. Hyperion Financial Reporting. So here you have to understand both are same. When this product was with Hyperion company, we used to call it as HFR, Hyperion Financial Reporting. After Oracle acquired, okay, that they are just using the functionality called as FRS, Financial Reporting Studio. That's all the name we are using here. Even in Hyperion also similarly we call, but here all the time we refer with this name. Both are same. That is I mean, you have to understand that point. Both are same. Okay, but there are two names for the same concept. You can call it as FRS or HFR. What is the purpose of this FRS or HFR? This is the reporting tool. This is a reporting tool. The data, whatever available in the database, based on that you can generate the report. Based on that you can generate the report. If you want to generate the report by using FRS or HFR, if data is available in Oracle database, that too in the tables, this report, this tool doesn't support. If you want to prepare the reports by using this FRS or HFR reporting tool, data should be available in S-based database. For Hyperion products, the favorite database is S-based. those run, those works, those, I mean, the data should be available in the Essbase database. Okay, Essbase database. If data is available in the Essbase, then only we can use these reporting tools. Okay, so report, you can use these tools. Why we cannot use these tools if data is available in the Oracle database? In Oracle database, you can have a data in the tables, but these tools and all doesn't work with the tables. In Essbase, there will be a concept called as cubes. We call as multi-dimensional cubes. Multi-dimensional cubes. We know like the kind of ice cubes. Similar, in the same way, there will be separate cubes, isolated cubes, separate cubes, which are individual cubes. So the difference between Oracle database and Essbase database is, the first point is we have a tables in the Oracle database, but in Essbase there won't be any tables concept. Data would be stored in the cubes. Multi-dimensional cubes would be there. In case of Oracle database, we store the data. What are the setups you do? You store it. Once you start creating the transaction, we store the transactions in Oracle database. So Oracle database is kind of transactional database. You store each and every transaction, but in the Essbase, there is no option to store the transactions. Here, we always maintain the balances. Okay, balances, summary balances can be maintained. Now, if you are going to run the report in the Oracle database, okay, based on Oracle database, if you want to generate the report, system has to identify the eligible transactions and it has to sum the amounts and it has to generate the reports. But in Essbase, balances are readily available. One click, it will display immediately. But in Oracle database, it may take some time because the data is not readily available as a balances. It is available as a transaction. It has to process, it has to blend the information from the transactions, and it has to display the report. So Essbase database, we have a cubes and data would be available in the balance in the form of balances, summary balances, so that FRS tool will work with the Essbase only. So that is the reason what we have to do is, the primary ledger, whatever we created, that will get stored in this Oracle database. That primary ledger, PL means primary ledger, short name. This primary ledger need to be copied to Essbase also. When you copy the primary ledger to Oracle database to Essbase, if you create 10 transactions in the primary ledger, the 10 transactions balances information will goes to Essbase. Not transactions. Notice that. Here we are creating the 10 transactions. But 10 transactions are not going to Essbase. 10 transaction related balances will go to Essbase so that the FRS tool can generate the reports with those 10 transaction related balances. So to make it happen, what Oracle it is, they connected Oracle database with Essbase database. We create all the transactions by using the primary ledger. So the moment you create the primary ledger, when you try to complete it, when you try to complete primary ledger, what system will do is, first system will validate how your primary ledger is created. Within your primary ledger, what calendar, what chart of accounts are created properly or not. Another point is, it will verify, is there any special characters provided in case of chart of accounts name or your primary ledger name. This all system will verify. The reason, our Oracle database may allow special characters, but not Essbase. So when you create the chart of accounts, you may use special characters. Our Oracle database may allow those, but sorry. So, but when you try to complete the primary ledger, what it will do, again, it will revalidate for the purpose of Essbase. It will revalidate if any special characters are there in the chart of accounts definition. or your primary ledger definition, it won't copy this primary ledger from our Oracle database to Sbase database. At the same time, it won't complete your primary ledger within your Oracle database also. So that's what system will do when you try to complete. When you try to complete your primary ledger, again it will revalidate your chart of accounts or say entire your primary ledger. If any special characters, it will throw error message saying that this primary ledger cannot be completed and cannot be transferred to Sbase. If everything is fine, it will conduct the validation, it will mark as fine. The second step is this primary ledger will be copied to Sbase. Whenever you create the transaction by using this primary ledger, the transactions data will get stored in the Oracle database. The balances, the summary of the transaction balances will go to Sbase automatically. You no need to do anything. Just it happens. They are trying to understand what happens. That's it. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to complete our primary ledger. We are going to complete our primary ledger. Let's see how to complete it. Before we proceed, any questions here, please? You no need to understand in depth about this because this is not our job. This is system job. System can perform this activity. But anyway, high level, if you are trying to understand, let me know. We can discuss.
So Lakshman,
Please.
this Hyperion reporting comes as a part of the Fusion, or we have to get another license for that, this reporting tool?
This is separate product, separate vendor for this. As we discussed, as a part of like, what does it mean by Fusion? We discussed many products Oracle acquired. One of the product is Hyperion. Okay, one of the product is Hyperion. Hyperion financial management, Hyperion financial reporting, Hyperion planning, budgeting. These are the different modules from Hyperion application product. So these are all Oracle acquired. Since Oracle got ownership for the Hyperion product, and Hyperion reporting tool is very, very popular, very good tool. So that they included within our Fusion GL. No separate license required. It comes along with the GL. It is part of GL you can take for report generation purpose.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello. Hello.
Please.
Yes, sir. That means that there is a two database default, Oracle database and EBS database.
Yes, base. Yeah, in
Okay.
Fusion we have two databases. One is Oracle database, second one is Sbase. Sbase can be used for Hyperion
Summary.
reporting purpose. And again in Fusion, from Hyperion we have like Hyperion planning, budgeting, and for those purposes also Sbase would be useful. When you talk about Sbase, data can be stored in the multi-dimensional cubes, that too in the form of balances, so that you can just do the very faster reporting.
Got it.
Yeah. Any other questions? Done. No questions. So now we'll see how to complete the primary ledger. So by using this task, we created our primary ledger. Again, we are going back to the same task. First, we'll check our primary ledger status. ABC INC USA primary ledger search. The status is in process. Okay, status is in process. Now we are going to complete it. To complete, here is the task. The task is review and submit accounting configuration. Review and submit accounting configuration. So make sure our primary ledger is in the selected scope. We are going to complete which primary ledger? The same primary ledger. It should be selected here. How it got selected? Anyone, please? How it got selected everywhere?
Edit and
We complete a task called as specify ledger options. The moment we clicked on this go to task icon, it prompted us to select our primary ledger to go to ledger options. There we given the same is defaulted for all these tasks. So that's how you can see the same here also. Now click on go to task icon to submit our primary ledger for completion. Just click on this. Click on submit. It submitted one process or program, or you can say request. Okay, it's submitted. This is the number. Say okay. There is a separate page from where you can see what is the status of the program. Click on navigator and go to tools. Click on scheduled processes. Navigation is go to navigator first, then expand tools. Under tools, we have a task called as scheduled processes. Click on scheduled processes. And here you can see it is running the relevant programs. It triggered these three programs. The moment you click on submit over there, review on the submit accounting configuration task level, it triggered these three requests or programs. You can call it jobs. Complete accounting configuration. Okay, they just triggered these additional two more jobs. Complete accounting configuration, load chart of account values. It is loading the chart of accounts into Sbase from our Oracle database, which are related to our primary ledger. Also, it's initiated creating the balance cubes. We discussed in Oracle database, we can have tables. In the tables, we can have a columns, rows and columns. Similar to rows and columns, in a Sbase database, we can have a cubes. For each segment, it will create as a one cube, one attribute or one dimension as per Sbase. Your currency is a one cube or one dimension or one attribute. Your accounting calendar period is one dimension. That's how it can create the cubes. How many cubes are required for our primary ledger, all it will create. That's what system is running the process. You can see status running. You may refresh it. Still it is running. Just refresh. This is a very standard program. It never fails until unless you do mistake. So if it identifies you have some special characters in your chart of accounts, it will fail. Then it will generate the output file. So that output file is, say for example, this program is failed. It is not failed, it is running, just for our understanding purpose. So if it is failed, it is ending with error or warning. You select it. After selecting the program, scroll little down. Here it is generating the log and output file. You can click on and open that file, and you can see what is the reason that got ended with error or ended with warning. You can see and you can take the necessary action. It may say you have one special character in the chart of accounts, then you can go and fix it. So that's how you can troubleshoot. So now you can see those three programs status as a schedule, succeeded. That is the status 3. So now if you go and check your primary ledger, the status you can see as a completed. By default, the actual status would be confirmed, means completed. Go to setup and maintenance task. And just you can go to project or directly you can navigate from the search page, click on search. The task name is manage primary ledgers. Okay, here ABC, INC, USA primary ledger. What is the status? Confirmed. If primary ledger status is confirmed, you can use this to record the transactions. Okay, status is not confirmed, you cannot use it. So what we have inside of this primary ledger, we have chart of accounts, we have accounting calendar, we have currency, and this is a balance cube which system created in the space. Created in the space, it is showing here. See, this chart of accounts, it created as a balance cube in the space like this. Even it will create the currencies and the accounting calendar, everything it will create, but here it doesn't display any reference. And where is our accounting method? As a part of primary ledger, also we selected accounting method. So if you want to see the hidden accounting method, you can go to view, go to columns, select accounting method. That column also displays here. It is displaying here now. Accounting method, that is standard. So this is all about primary ledger creation, and you have to ensure the status is confirmed. If not confirmed, you cannot use it. That's all about primary ledger. Any questions from anyone about primary ledger, please?
In this primary ledger, not required accounting method, right?
What do you mean by not required?
So other than GL applications only, it required, right? As previous discussion.
So in every implementation, okay, we use accounting method. No client will use only GL. If they are using only GL, accounting method is not required.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions, please?
Sir, if we don't complete this primary ledger last step, so will it be the status in process only?
Yes, correct.
Okay, sir.
It will remain with the same status as in process, and you cannot use anywhere. You cannot record the transactions with that. Yeah. Any other questions?
So what is the main advantage of, by setting the ledger options, Lakshman?
You are telling to the system, okay, if any returned earnings accounts are calculated, that any variance between like revenue and expense, that amount should go and sit in which account? You are telling to the system.
Okay.
For now, that's what you can understand. There are a few other controls also. Once we get into the process, you will understand those. For now, that is only the message for us.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Now we have completed and confirmed that primary ledger. After confirmation, could you update the chart of account? I mean to say, if we need to add any additional field, so we can do that or not? Was not allowed to do anything.
What is the exact point? Editing or updating chart of accounts means you just tell me the case. What do you want to update?
If we need to add one segment, kind of future 3.
That very clearly we discussed, you should not do it. Okay, you should not do it. You know, already you given the returned earnings account code combination. Okay, you should not do it. Now, just you didn't record the transactions, you may do it, but that is not recommended. You never come across with that kind of scenario, since you are you know what to do, what not to do. Client may not aware, but you know as a consultant. Okay.
Mhm.
So you should aware of it. We never do it. If something is required at this stage, you can do it because you not started using this primary ledger to record the transactions. That is allowed. You can go and add chart of accounts, one more segment in the chart of accounts. If you add one more segment in the chart of account, where you have to do the correction in the ledger options. Right, in the ledger options, that segment related value you have to provide. Otherwise, the code combination what we selected, it will fail. Right?
Correct. Correct.
There we given code combination only for 7 segments. Now you are adding 8. You have to go and do the change. That is okay. But once you create the transaction, you cannot go back to all the transaction. You cannot add one more segment value in that. It is not possible. That is the reason you should not do that.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. If you do go and do the changes at this stage, it may be okay. And you have to compile it. You have to submit for a deployment again. Otherwise, the changes won't reflect.
Will not reflect. Correct.
Yeah, that is only the point we have to consider. Do the changes and again resubmit for a deployment that will reflect in our chart of account, which is there in the primary ledger. But once you start using the primary ledger, never do the changes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, Lakshman. As of now, we have set the ledger options and we have taken account that one of the code, right, related to retaining earnings. So when we have created account segments, we have created other values as well, other than retain account. So do we need to set even those segment values as well?
See, we clearly discussed the purpose. Okay. Company object is profits. The profit related account we have to set in the ledger. That we did. All the other accounts, what purpose you created to record the transactions. Already those are there in your ledger only as a part of chart of accounts. Those you don't need to set at your ledger options. Not required.
Okay, Lakshman, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, for future 1 and future 2, which we have created in segments. So if client want to add any future segments, so we can add in that. So after creating the transactions, we can't do that, no, sir.
You can do that because you have that buffer space, right? You change the name, you add new values, start using it. So you are not
Okay, sir.
creating new, just name you are changing and you are going to add the values to in that value set. That's it. Till the time you are using 0000. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Later you will change the display name to maybe product or something else. Then you have as of now only 0000 default value. Once you change the name, okay, from future 1 to some product as a segment, then you will add all your products information over there. Next time when you create the transaction, you select the relevant value. That's how it works. You can do that. You can do that. That is the purpose we are creating future. Any other questions, please?
Yeah, actually, that final step in the creation of ledger, where we run that sequence of jobs. So suppose I change the ledger options on some of the ledger options. Do I need does the system need to run that?
Voice is not clear. Voice is
Hello?
not audible. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I was asking was that the final step in the creation of ledger,
Completion.
where we completion, where the sequence of jobs are run. So every time if we change the ledger options, do we need to run those jobs?
I'm not talking about because of ledger options we are doing this. When you create the ledger for first time, you have to complete it. Once you complete, so permanently complete only. Any changes you do, you don't need to go and do this complete activity. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Do any changes, it will reflect automatically. You don't need to do any changes. That's what we discussed. Deploying the chart of accounts, we have to do one time only. You don't need to do every time somebody else is creating the chart of accounts. And in this
Yeah.
primer ledger completion for the first time, you create primer ledger, set ledger options, complete it. Later, you may do many changes against your primer ledger with the ledger options or some other options. Don't worry about this. You no need to go back to the same task to complete it once again.
No, understand.
So one
Thanks,
time.
sir.
That's it. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So done. If you don't have any questions in the next session, okay, I'll talk about if you are going to do the implementation for any company, what you have to understand, how you have to bring the same environment into system, which is very much important to understand. We will start discussing those accordingly. We'll start working on the system. Okay, we'll start from Monday. Okay, because as per our schedule, the classes we have from Monday to Friday. So the next session would be on Monday. Yeah. Please try to complete the practice from your end so that it would be very easy when you attend next and next classes. Yeah. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. Otherwise, nothing from my side. I am just done. If you have any questions.